Hey folks, Jackdaw here. I'm very excited to say that I am back after a tough start to the new year following a recent hacking incident on my channel. My very sincere apologies for the inconvenience caused by an Elon Musk imposter selling NFTs on my channel. But thanks to YouTube, I'm now fully restored and ready to explore the latest news updates about Age Dreadwolf. If you want the full lowdown on everything we know about Dreadwolf's news updates in 2022, be sure to check out my latest livestream. However, today we have a lot of very exciting, massive news to talk about. Age Dreadwolf has very recently just leaked on Reddit, as well as an actual Inside Gaming article detailing more leaks, referring to the release date, gameplay, combat mechanics, and so many other features of Dreadwolf. As a disclaimer, I will not be sharing any footage or images, just describing these leaks in full, but many of them do have spoiler material in them. So as a fair warning, if you want to go in Dreadwolf fully dark, you may not want to see the details of these leaks. We're also going to discuss Walters' recent departure and the buzz around the new supposed composer of Age Dreadwolf. So without further ado, let's kick straight into this with this Insider Gaming leak report. Reading as followed: Insider Gaming sources who have spoken to Insider Gaming under the request of anonymity have said that Age Dreadwolf might be further away than previous rumors have suggested. The development of Dreadwolf began in 2015 and has seen significant changes over its 8-year development, but EA is still yet to issue a release date for the title. Previous rumors have suggested the game could release in 2023, but the information provided to Inside Gamer suggests that this date could be rather optimistic. Sources who have knowledge of the game and its progress have said that the game still lacks features, completed character lines, and still contains the remnants of the game's past, which abruptly changed direction in early 2021. According to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, Age Dreadwolf pivoted from its planned multiplayer components to a single-player experience. Two sources have revealed that some of those multiplayer components are still, quote, sensed to some degree in the current build of the game, with one source saying, quote, the game felt a bit like Destiny with a central hub where players could probably regroup before heading into the next mission, end quote. The game's hub, though, will still play a vital role in Dreadwolf in its single-player format. Dreadwolf follows a similar gameplay loop to its predecessors, which will involve recruiting and growing your crew, whom you'll encounter by completing missions. Your recruited crew will populate your hub, where you can give them different pieces of equipment and modifications as you progress throughout the game. It's understood that you'll be able to move from your hub to missions by passing through a mirrored portal. I wonder what that could be. As for combat, one source who recently played the game suggested that it was more akin to a hack and slash compared to past games, and the game's combat wheel is similar to that of the one in Final Fantasy 15. As for your crew, it is said that you currently cannot control them and only select the ability they can cast in combat. In summary, as for when Age Dreadwolf will release, it's anyone's guess, but missing voice lines and placeholder text likely suggests it's a bit further back than originally rumoured. No actual dates from the source were given to Insider Gamer, but they wouldn't be surprised if the game releases in 2024. Okay, so going through this point by point, there are a few things that stuck out to me. And the first one, despite its development progress, the game apparently still lacks important features, unfinished character dialogue, and noticeable remnants from its previous multiplayer iteration. Now, I'm pretty sure all of us were under the impression that the game was in its final stages of refinement during its alpha phase. That's at least what Gary McKay reiterated last year as the game wrapped up its production phase and entered alpha in October. However, according to this leak, it would seem that there is still a lot of work involving this single-player pivot and removing the multiplayer content. In that case, and if this is true, it would seem that BioWare's pivot to change the game's direction from a multiplayer experience to a single-player one was a soft reboot. Additionally, while the similarities to Destiny, a multiplayer live service game, are concerning given that Anthem was compared to it, the presence of a central hub where the player can return and develop their base is a staple of each Dragon Age game, and that kind of mitigates concerns for me. I think it's just the comparison to Destiny that's causing the worry there. In my opinion, I don't really want a single player game to be compared to Destiny, and that is where a lot of the concern lies. And traveling through mirrored portals, obviously that's the Illuvians, and that would be absolutely fantastic. The experience in the Trespasser DLC was great with that, and it added to the game's focus, rather than burdening it with an expansive open world design. I just wonder how our new hero will exactly take control of the Illuvian network, as Solas did override them for his own nefarious purposes. And I'm going to talk about the hack and slash gameplay in the next section. However, I have to say, if this is true, BioWare's commitment to potentially removing the tactic system is bold. So moreover, the source behind this Insider Gaming article went on to reveal more insights about Dragon Age Dreadwolf having had actual access to an alpha version of the game. They disclosed various details about the game. Again, I am not going to show any of the footage, but this is where we get into proper spoiler material. So just as a fair warning, if you want to go in completely dark with Dreadwolf, you're not going to want to hear this. But let's have a read what they posted on Reddit. As followed, the recent article by Tom Henderson prompted me to make this post instead of responding to every reply in that thread. I'll just describe what I saw overall here. I was honestly shocked when we got no gameplay reveal at the Game Awards 2022, as I was sure we'd get something considering the timing this video was shared with me. Background: a kind playtester shared their recorded gameplay of Dragon Age 4 that was in early alpha at that stage. I saw what they recorded before they were shuffled to another project. No, I will not share the video as the individual in question asked me not to, and until I get their permission, it will remain private. I don't want to get anyone in trouble, so they need to let me know it's okay and nothing in the video would get back to them. Alright, so now to what's in the video. It's about 20 minutes of gameplay involving one segment / dungeon. The entire gameplay is set within the Grey Warden's Fortress HQ of Weishaupt. That's what the location text literally says. Now again, the gameplay is alpha, so there isn't a whole lot of detail and there are missing textures for a lot of elements. Basically, buildings and whatnot are all modelled and textured, but the skybox itself is very dark and makes it seem as though the entire fortress is underground, although it is clearly not. I suspect the skybox could contain some giant world event similar to the breach that hadn't finished. The player character is an elvish quote knight class. The character screen actually says they are a mid-level Grey Warden. They've got a sword and a shield. They also have two party members, another knight dude and a female dwarf rogue. I suspect both models are placeholders and they won't actually look like they do in the final game. Darkspawn are currently attacking Weishaupt and there are routes all over the place alongside red lyrium popping up here and there. Oddly, the Darkspawn also apparently are infused with red lyrium and have red lyrium attacks, and some have red eyes. The objective is to fight through the Darkspawn to get to the library, but as you are doing so, there is also a big ass dragon attacking from above, because you know it is Dragon Age, and the dragon creates occasional environmental and traversal hazards. It ends once you reach the library. Close the gates and then come face to face with the dragon. It appears you are then supposed to try and chain the dragon up, but it ends before the player completes that. There is no audio, and while there are subtitles, they are mostly glitched and frozen, so you can't tell what people are saying during cutscenes or combat. Okay, so that's the setup and general overview. Now for the juicy gameplay details. Combat is completely in real time and similar to a hack and slash. I'm told the guiding reference point was God of War 2018, and that shows. Very interesting decision right there. The player has their regular combo attack and then their abilities, as well as a special bar which generates, allowing you to pull off a special move. It's a standard Dragon Age ability wheel. There was no party control demonstrated. I think it's a safe bet to say you will not be able to directly control your party members in the game. That said, you will likely be able to tell them to execute certain abilities, but apparently that was locked off in the alpha. The most immediate thing that you noticed is that the animation quality has drastically improved. Like for any other AAA title, it's probably not that big of a deal, but we've never seen animation quality this good in any BioWare game. I didn't actually play it, but I can tell it probably feels really good to control your character. No more stiff animations, it's all very fluid and also seems very responsive. Jumping has also been retained, so rejoice if you enjoyed jumping a lot in Dragon Age Inquisition. As the character was a sword and shield dude, he was able to parry attacks from enemies and follow up with counters. It's hard to tell their exact abilities. They only had two on hotkeys along with a special, but one appears to basically be a drop kick and the other a charged sword attack. I'm not sure exactly what the special attack does. The UI is similar to Inquisition, but this is also alpha and UI is the last thing finalized in any game. The character has a chest slot, a helmet slot, a primary weapon slot, and a shield / secondary weapon slot. For accessories, one amulet slot, one belt slot, and two ring slots. Oh, and the character's hair looked glorious. I mean, it was clipping right through the helmet, but it was flowing and bouncing as they moved. Finally, no more stiff ass hair. Now let's hope we have more than just two black hairstyles. Lastly, enemies were pretty much variations of Darkspawn, except the dragon, but again, they seemed to have red lyrium powers. Wow, like wow. So much juicy freaking content right there on Dragon Age. I think the most exciting aspect for me is the possibility of having this elf who is a knight who is also maybe a Grey Warden as an origin story. Depends if the UI is changed changed or what have you, but if this is true, it could potentially mean the return of origin stories, something that fans and myself have been hoping for. You see, the Game Awards 2020 trailer hinted at 4 different backgrounds for our new protagonist, and if this leak proves to be true, it could actually be a reality. We could be choosing our race, class, and origin story separately, just like in Dragon Age Origins. Now, of course, it is very important to keep in mind that this is information from an alpha leak and from somebody who's also captured this leak as well, so it's all subject to change and we should take it with a pinch of salt, but having seen the footage and the screenshots myself, it seems pretty legit. And from what we've all seen, I'm actually thrilled. Bearing in mind this is alpha, it's still super exciting and amazing to see. It is a shame that it has been leaked, but we've officially seen aspects of Dragon Age Dreadwolf's gameplay and it looks really good and it's sounding like it's going to be amazing once it is fluffed and polished. So quite a lot to digest there. Let's move on to another major story that was recently reported. Eurogamer wrote up an article on January 23rd stating that BioWare veteran Mac Walters has officially departed the studio. Walters has been working at BioWare for an incredible 19 years, starting out with working on the original Jade Empire. Now though, Walters departs BioWare partway through the development of Dragon Age 4, a project on which he was the production director. The long-awaited follow-up to Dragon Age Inquisition, Dragon Age Dreadwolf is currently without a release date after years of development, and BioWare originally revealed it was in the middle of production as of last year in June 2022. Now, as much as I really appreciate GamesRadar, the article overlooked the fact that Dragon Age Dreadwolf achieved its alpha milestone in October last year, indicating that its production phase has been completed, and with that, it's very much possible that Mac Walters left the Dragon Age team at a mutually convenient time and in line with the game's development. If production had legitimately finished and Mac Walters was the production director, it would seem that it would be the best time for him to leave and move on from BioWare. Regardless, I wish Mac all the best and extend my gratitude along with the entire fandom for his 19 years of dedicated service at BioWare. And finally, we have another massive story and also kind of a leaked one at that too, because this tweet was immediately deleted once it was posted, which also kind of just adds more legitimacy to it. So composer Trevor Morris, who wrote the soundtrack for Dragon Age Inquisition, announced on Twitter that he is not working on the 4th part of the game. According to the musician, BioWare abandoned his servants in favor of Hanz, Zimmer and co. Now, Trevor Morris immediately deleted this tweet literally like an hour after it going live. For those who don't know, Hanz Zimmer is one of the top Hollywood composers. His music plays in The Lion King, Gladiator, Sherlock Holmes, and many of Christopher Nolan's films, including Inception and Interstellar. Zimmer crossed paths with games twice when he wrote soundtracks for Crysis 2 and also the original Modern Warfare 2. The news of Trevor Morris not returning for the soundtrack of Dragon Age Dreadwolf has left me very much disappointed. He did tremendous work on Inquisition's soundtrack, most particularly the Trespasser DLC. It's absolutely euphonous. However, in spite of that, I am thrilled at the prospect of Hanz Zimmer taking on the challenge of creating the soundtrack for the game. Hanz Zimmer is a renowned and talented composer who has brought his musical magic to countless films and games. If there's anyone I would trust to bring the world of Dragon Age to life through music, it's Hanz Zimmer. So if this indeed is true, I cannot wait to hear what he comes up with. Regardless, I'm eager to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on each story we discussed today, especially the Dragon Age Dreadwolf leaks. It's crazy. What timeline are we currently in? Literally, I did a live stream this morning basically claiming that these leaks seemed pretty false, didn't have that much legitimacy to them besides the reputable insiders themselves, and now it basically seems like the majority of it is pretty much true. I would absolutely love to hear all of your thoughts down below. What did you think of these leaks? Have you taken a look at them yourselves? Do let me know down below. I would love to discuss with you all. But I just want to say thank you all so much for waiting patiently for me to recover from an awful hacking incident, and it is just so good to be back making Dragon Age videos for you all. So until the next one, I've been Jackdaw, and I should go. Whoa, 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 whoa.